Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome you to finally a new episode of the Did You Know series. This one will be featuring Ekko as voted by the viewers on Facebook and Twitter. So if you end up enjoying this one, don't forget to hit that like button to show your support, but let's move right into the abilities. So first, let's talk about exactly how Ekko's passive actually scales in terms of numbers per level. For the damage that it deals, it starts at 20 at level 1 and goes up to 190 at level 18, going up by 10 damage every single level. The slow on his passive goes from 30% to 60%, moving up in scaling at level 1, 6, 11, and 16. And the duration goes from 2 seconds, 2.5 to 3 seconds at level 1, 6, and 11. And the final thing about his passive is the move speed that Ekko himself gains when proccing it on an enemy champion, which starts at 40, then 50, 60, and then jumps to 80 at level 1, 6, 11, and 16. Ekko's passive is considered a spell when taking into account for items such as Rylai's Crystal Scepter, proccing the slow when proccing the passive. However, having said that, it will not be blocked by something like Spell Shield. You can somewhat alter the direction of your Q ability's return using your E ability somewhere to the side and catch your opponent off guard. Ekko's W provides vision upon where it is casted after 2 seconds, which is great for seeing within bushes or just simply places you do not have vision of. But on top of that, Ekko's W does have a hologram that appears casting the ability behind Ekko, which can be used in bushes to hide the animation of it only if Ekko as well is not visible to the other team. However, in this example right here, you'll see that if Ekko casts it in the bush and then walks out and gives the enemy team visibility of himself, it'll instantly reveal the hologram that was casting it. Ekko's E ability, even though it does seem somewhat short in terms of the range he dashes, can be used to go over many of the terrain in Summoner's Rift, even some terrain that may seem like it is simply way too thick for him to use the E ability to go over. His E ability can also be used on structures, which includes turrets, inhibitors, and even the Nexus, applying things like Lichbane on top of it. One of my favorite things to do with Ekko is using his E ability as an animation cancelling ability when combined with your Q or your W, essentially casting 2 abilities in the animation of just one. And the way you do it is quite simple. You use your E ability, and the second you use your E, you use the Q or W right after. Ekko's Q ability can be blocked by Spell Shield, though it will not cancel its second effect or the ability in general. His W's stun can also be blocked but not the passive. His E ability's damage will be blocked but not the auto attack portion of it, and your ultimate will also be blocked. Ekko's Q ability will be blocked by Wind Wall or Braum's Shield and cancel the rest of the ability, but his W cannot be blocked by either of the two. When using your ultimate, Ekko becomes untargetable and invulnerable for a split second, avoiding all damage and potential damage like maybe a Caitlyn or Karthus ultimate. And a very common trick with his ultimate is teleporting somewhere or back into base, buying an item, and then using your ultimate to get back into lane or a team fight instantly. Despite his ultimate putting him back 4 seconds in time, it doesn't actually do that for his status. It will not remove dots or debuffs, and it only really just affects his HP as a flat heal. And among my favorite combos to do with Ekko that is a little difficult and takes some practice is to use your E with your Q on your target when harassing them in the lane, add some damage, fake a retreat as if you're running back to your tower, and as you're running away about halfway through, throw your W on them, and then use your ultimate synced in with your W to get the stun and damage off when they least expect it, and they go back for the CS. Alright guys, let's go into some cool facts and lore about Ekko. So Ekko was designed by someone named Gypsy Lord, who also designed Vi, Jinx, and Gnar. However, he was visually designed by someone named Edmundo and written by someone called Fox Shizzle. Ekko's voice actor is someone named Anthony Del Rio, who has also done voices for games such as Metal Gear Solid 5, Super Smash Bros, and many more. During Ekko's development, he had 2 names before he was named Ekko. They were Time Slugger and Time Assassin. Since Ekko brought a new dynamic to the game, it took 8 months to finalize his concept. He was designed to be the time assassin with rewind, and there are 2 iterations to his ultimate at first that a few writers have mentioned. The first one was to save everyone's mana, HP, cooldown, position, and all that kind of stuff, and after 8 seconds to put them back to that state if they have not died. And the second iteration of his ultimate was to return himself and a target enemy champion 4 seconds back in time. Ekko was leaked on 4chan before his release, to which most people at first did not believe. Ekko's name is clearly a variation of the word echo, which means a sound or series of sounds caused by the reflection of sound waves, or in other words, something being repeated, which is essentially the premise behind Ekko's kit and playstyle. It is also possible that his name refers to John Steven Seduth, a name I probably not only have butchered, but also someone who's known as Mickey Ekko, who also ended up publishing his first album titled Time. Also, Ekko's champion title, The Boy Who Shattered Time, was inspired by an anime movie titled The Girl Who Leaped Through Time. Ekko's fantastic music was created by Riot Schizophrenia. It has been potentially hinted by writers that a future skin theme shared with the two time travelers in League, Ekko and Zillion, might be released. An interesting feature is that Ekko is the second champion next to Zed who doesn't actually die in his death animation within the game, or at least we do not see it. So here's a very quick version of his lore. He lives in Zaun and uses his own invention, the Zero Drive, to manipulate time for his own benefit. He experiments with multi-dimensional probability and spends his other days running wild with the other lost children of Zaun. He protects himself and his friends from threats and will do anything to do so. He is also very intelligent and a perfectionist. But if we dive a bit more into his lore, first off, Ekko is actually not his real name, much like how Jinx and Vi are also not the real name of those two champions either. It was a name given to them by friends. On the memorial wall you see in Ekko's video, girls with blue and pink hair resembling Vi and Jinx can be seen. All three of them used to be in a gang together within Zaun until Vi left and Jinx went crazy and started talking to her guns. Arjuna, Ekko's friend from the comic, was killed by someone unknown from Piltover, giving Ekko more reason to dislike people from Piltover such as Jace and Caitlyn, and the fact that Vi did leave him and the gang to go to Piltover to work with Caitlyn. Ekko does not like Zaun people who cause further problems, so for instance Mundo, Victor, and Singed. Ekko actually sympathizes with Urgot and wants to give him his Z-Drive. There may be a reference between his Z-Drive and Dragon Ball Z, but that's just my personal assumption. A pretty cool piece of information is the fact that Ekko had a pet that looked much like Twitch that he called Mr. Tails. He has only heard of Yordles and Tails, but would highly respect Rumble and Heimer for their skills and just how smart they are. He also does seem to like Zack. Since Ekko is constantly messing with time, Zillion and maybe even Bard might be concerned with his actions, and could be keeping a close eye on him. In the short animation for Ekko, he is fighting a goon that are called Vigilnauts that were sent to kill him by an unknown benefactor, and it is confirmed that the goon he fought is not Singed nor Urgot. The face paint and his Zero Drive device both are in the shape of an hourglass, which of course is a symbol of time and Ekko's personal symbol as well. His weapon, if you look closely, has the Roman numeral XII, meaning 12, much like how Vi is VI, which is 6, and Jinx, or X, is 10. Many people wonder Ekko's age due to his time traveling, but it has been confirmed that he is a teenager around the age of 16. However, with the constant use of this device, he does age somewhat unnaturally. An example would be if he rewinded time 200 times in 30 seconds, he would age exactly 1 hour and 40 minutes within that time. Did you know that Ekko's weapon that he uses isn't actually a sword, nor is it really technically a weapon? It is in fact a clock hand that he stole from a clock tower in Piltover. Ekko shares a quote with Jace.
Never look back.
Never look back.
His two quotes from buying Luden's Ekko refer to the item having the word Ekko in it and how the item during Ekko's release was very strong for him.
It's like it was made for me. How could I not buy this?
His quote towards Victor,
Never go full robot.
references to the movie Tropic Thunder and a similar quote from there. He also shares two quotes with Sivir.
Heads up!
Heads up!
Catch!
Catch!
He has a similar quote to Zillion.
I've seen your future, and it's got broken bones.
I've seen your death. It was painful.
His other quote
I'm old enough to buy this.
is a joke and more proof to his age and how people under 18 cannot buy alcohol. Another quote Ekko has,
Tomorrow's the last of my worries.
Is a literal and wordplay at Jace's champion title, Defender of Tomorrow. Classic Ekko seems to be somewhat similar to the kid from Bastion. And if you look really closely in this splash art, the writing behind him resembles Alienese from Futurama. Sandstorm Ekko references to Prince of Persia, and he also shares this theme with Katarina. And did you know that Academy Ekko references the South Korean high school uniforms, and he also shares this theme with Ari, Darius, and Vladimir. Alright guys, unfortunately that does mark the end of this episode of the Did You Know series featuring Ekko. If you did enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button to show your support, make sure to subscribe if you haven't, share this with your friends, and check out my other videos and episodes of this series as well. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. But I really want to thank each and every one of you for watching, and I'll see you for the next video. Peace.